クワドリアン。まさか噂の親父殿の隠し屋敷なのか。本当に実在したのか。
我が最愛の魔女ベアトリーチェのためだけに築いた屋敷である。地上部分は美しき上品な屋敷なのであるが、そこを案内できず実に残念に思うぞ。
Yeah, what a shame.
こんな牢屋があるお屋敷で二人きりなんて素敵ね。どうもお父様とは性癖が合わないみたいよ。
キリエさん、無礼な発言はお控えになった方が賢明ですよ。
でも同感よ。私も送られた屋敷にこんな力があったら100年の恋も冷めて金目のものだけいただいてとんずらするわ。
おや、そういうご趣味はございませんか。てっきりキュンキュンしちゃうとばかり。
もちろんキュンキュンしちゃうわよ。誕生日のプレゼントに首輪なんかもらっちゃったりしたらね。ただしイケメンに限る。
お静かに。首輪より猿靴輪が必要ですか。
Oh my.
あら、あなたはそっちもいけちゃうの？
Vegeta, please be careful with what you're saying. I mean, what you said here can't be taken in more ways than one.
リアって好き嫌いないのね。
勝手に人の名前を略さないでください。
やかましいぞ女たち。お前たちも同じ牢に閉じ込められたいというのか。
これは失礼いたしました、親方様。
You don't have to apologize, jack shit, Vegeta.
この牢体にこのような寒い牢獄では身が持ちませぬ。
Vegeta quickly apologized, but got merely left to get with Ronoe. It was like she was saying that she wouldn't be captured. Or else, that if she were to be captured, it would be meaningless.
牢とは捕らえ逃がさぬこと。それはすなわち生涯手放さぬとの強い意志と愛である。逃げても諦められる程度の女ならば愛を語るに値しない。鎖で縛ってでも逃がしたくないと思うほどに苦しくなる女。そこまでに至ってこそ我が生涯を捧げるに値する愛である。
Wow. That has got to be the stupidest and most heinous thing that I've heard this entire month. On par with what Rosa fought on Maria back in the last events. Like, I cannot even tell what's worse.
お前にそれを分かれとは言わぬよ。
私は誰にも縛れない。縛られない。愛されたいんじゃないの。愛したいの。私もゴールドスミスと同じよ。だからよくわかるわ。
愛と狂気は紙一重というわけかね。実に旗迷惑な話だ。
しかしあっさり所在地が分かったのは大きいわ。詳しい経緯は後で聞くけど、南條先生はここをご存知なのね。
はい。そこの廊下がクワドリアンの地下通路ならば、あの先をまっすぐ行けば長い地下道になり、それをずっと歩けば屋敷に戻れるはずだ。
Ho ho? You mean the main mansion, right? I wonder if that is true in Human Claim. Like, can you tell us where the hidden passage is in the mansion, Nanjo?
この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば屋敷に帰れるってことね。
お父さん、私たちをどうするつもりですか？
I mean, I do also have to mention this. This is weird with Nanjo here. I mean, you would think that Nanjo would be able to, like, you would think that Nanjo would tell us of this before Kinzo came in and told us that this is under Kuadorian. And Nanjo was all, oh, Kuadorian? You could have told us before, Nanjo. I mean, where else would you think of other places like this that you have actually seen before? I mean, yeah, you're probably thinking that it couldn't be possible that this is under Kuadorian given the high distance and all that, but you could have at least told us of this possibility, Nanjo. You could have told us that Kuadorian existed, you know? Just saying.
すでに宣告した通り、お前たちは後の晩のための生贄である。都合よく人数も5人。えぐりて殺す5人の人質にぴったりであろう。
なるほど。私たちも年貢の納め時というわけですか。
やがてはな。だが今はそのために訪れたのではない。安心せよ。それに言ったはずだ。もしも孫たちの誰かが我が全てを継承するにふさわしいと認められたなら、この儀式は中断する。つまりお前たちは命拾いをするというわけだ。
お子さんたちに何をするつもりですか？
次期当主にふさわしいかどうかテストを与える。その結果、私をうならせる者が一人でもいたならば儀式は中断する。
ふさわしい者がいなかったら子供たちはどうするつもりですか？
それを心配する必要はない。どうせ先に生贄とされるのはお前たちだ。その後のことなど知ったことではなかろうに。お前たちは自らの命運を自らの子供たちに委ねるのだ。お前たちが産み教え育ててきた結晶が子供たちだ。お前たちの命運を委ねるに実にふさわしい存在のはず。そう心配そうな顔をするなよ、クラウス。お前の自慢の100億の価値のある娘を信じろよ。
まったくね。子供は親の結晶よ。親の命運を預けるにふさわしいわ。お父様にとってもね。
肝の据わった女だ。ルドルフにはもったいない。
キリエさん、あまり挑発しない方がいい。
同感だ。今は耐えよう。
そうね。どうせ私たちはまな板の上の恋よ。今さら何もできやしない。
私に対し威勢のいい口を叩くことはできるがな。嫌いではないぞ、そういう女は。
You.
ベアトリーチェも初めはそういう女だった。
親方様、そろそろ本題を。さっきから脱線しまくりです。
Yeah, let's just continue. We're like he is saying over here. We're derailing over here.
おお、そうであったな。すまぬすまぬ我が友よ。それでは本題に入ろう。そのために電話を用意しておいたのだ。シャノン、知恵が回るな。もう隠さなくてもよいぞ。それは私が用意させたのだ。
失礼いたしました。
Shannon quickly returned, and the telephone was revealed.
クラウスよ。 ゲストハウスの孫たちに電話をかけるがよい。そして我がテストを、試練の始まりを彼らに告げるのだ。
Let the trial begin. With a gesture that seemed to be saying, "Go ahead," Ranoe urged Kraus to pick up the receiver.
嫌だと言ったら。
ほほう、取引の余地がどこにあるというのか。お前が電話をせぬというなら、孫たちにはチャンスさえも与えぬ。後宮家はこれにて終わり。お前たちは直ちに生贄だ。
直ちに生贄なら幸運よ。あなたたちの眼前で子供たちを先に生贄にされた方が辛いと思うけれど。
生贄の順番は親方様が決めます。勝手なことを言わないように。
リア、今私の名前を縮めようとして詰まったでしょ。
してません。
I mean, how do you even shorten it? Like, wouldn't it be Ga? Or I guess it's just G.
だから勝手に人の名前を略さないように。
Or, I mean, not shorten it in the literal sense. You could just call her Gapi.
女は実に。
かしましいですな。
The clinic that Nanjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Nijima. The aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different.
わざわざお越しくださり、誠に申し訳ないのですが、特にお話しすることはありません。
Nanjo's son spoke very differently.
あの島の事故がワイドショーなどで非常に不謹慎に取り上げられて以来、後宮氏の主治医であり友人でもあった父にも大変心外な関心が多数寄せられました。そのいずれもが何の根拠もなく、また父のそれまでの業績を汚すものでした。私はそれら全てについて未だに強く憤慨しています。
無理もないことと思います。私も同じようなものですので。私など6つの時から延々です。
そうでしたね。これは失礼。
The doctor finally remembered that Nanji was also a victim, exposed to the same curious eyes as he had been.
そんなあなたなら当時の件にもう関わりたくないという私どもの気持ちもお分かりでしょう。あれは不幸な事故でした。それを事件だと騒ぎ立てたがるのは無責任なテレビと雑誌だけです。彼らの態度には心底うんざりさせられますよ。
Nanjo had been placed in the spotlight for being one of the Ushiromiya Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there had probably been a persistent offensive from the witch hunters and press to use the late Nanjo's son as well as a source of information. The doctor went on and on, criticizing the press indignantly.
お気持ちよくわかります。私生活に至るまで監視を受け、プライバシーも肖像権も、果ては人権さえも認められてたかわからない私ですから、そのやり場のないお怒り、よくお察しできます。だからこそ、私の人生をここまで台無しにしたあの事件は、一体何だったのか、どうしても知りたいのです。それでここへ来ました。私もあなたと同じ当事者です。雑誌記者でもインタビュアーでもありません。そこを誤解しないでください。私は道楽でこんなところまで来たんじゃない。私を見下すのもいい加減にしてください。あの事件で狂わされた人生の傷跡比べをするならば、私とあなたでは比べ物にもならない。
And she spoke sharply. And she's got a point there. No doubts about that. I mean, you can see it in her eyes too. Never having imagined that he would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, the doctor couldn't help but fall silent. From Angie's perspective, the doctor was whining about absolutely nothing. She really wanted him to pack in. She really wanted him to pack in his. She really wanted him to pack in his patronizing attitude. To pack in? I guess so. It was about time to make him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he had misspoken, and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable.
当時のことを思い出すのは苦痛でしょうが、ご存知のことがあったら何でも教えてください。もちろん口外はしません。私は私の人生に決着をつけるために今日ここへ訪れています。私は18です。あの事件は私の人生の12年を奪った。そしてこれからも奪い続けるでしょう。私は6歳のあの日からずっと暗闇に放り込まれたままなんです。そんな私でも知る権利がないとおっしゃるんですか？
いや、失敬。たちの悪い連中ばかりが来ていたので、私もつい身構えてしまったようです。失敬したのをお詫びします。わかりました。他言無用を誓っていただけるなら何でもお話しします。
ありがとう先生。ではお願いします。何でも結構です。話して。
知っての通り、父は後宮氏の主治医であると同時にチェスを通じた友人同士でもありました。その親交は後宮氏が六軒島に移り住んできた当時からのとても長いものでした。
どのくらい仲が良かったのですか？
相当だったようです。チェスの縁で先方の屋敷に厄介になることも少なくなかったようです。私の口から言うのもなんだが、後宮氏は非常に気難しい方でした。そして父はそんな人間と付き合うのに長けた非常におおらかな人だった。孤独な後宮氏にとって稀な友人であったことは想像に難しくないでしょう。
当日は親族会議でした。後宮家の親族会議は資産やその運用などについて厳しく問われるさながら経営会議のようなものだったとされています。そのような席にまで出席を求められるほどに南條先生は信頼を得ていたわけですね。
父は純朴な医師であり、後宮家のような富豪の財産運用について助言できるような立場にあったとは思えません。おそらく当時の後宮氏は健康状態が優れられなかったでしょうから、その買い添えとして呼ばれていたのでしょう。
I want to add like a comment over here. Like, I know that I'm definitely not good at recognizing Japanese voice actors over here. But the voice actor of Masayuki over here, it definitely must be Nanjo's. Like our Nanjo. Our Nanjo's a voice actor as well over here. Just much younger voice here, that is. I mean, it has to be.
親友の父ならおそらく口も固く、親族会議上の秘密もきっと漏らさないと信頼されていたに違いない。
I mean, you can definitely hear similarity over here in the voice.
当時の後宮金蔵はかなり健康状態が悪かったのでしょうか？カルテが残っていたりはしますか？
事故の当日はカルテを持参していたのでしょう。後宮氏のカルテは残念ながらフォルダごと失われています。父のクラン家ですし、私も詳しいことは分かりません。
事件の前後、何か気になるようなことはありました？
あるにはあります。ですが非常に誤解を招きそうなのであまり言いたくはありません。
何ですか？それを教えてください。
For a while, the doctor beat around the bush. But after he'd said that much, Angie would not allow the subject to be touched. Eventually, he was worn down, and after making Angie swear herself to secrecy again, he opened up.
実はあの事故の数日後に私の自宅に郵便が届いたのです。
郵便？
それはとても奇妙な郵便でした。
Yubi?
差出人が私になっているのですが、それは身に覚えのないものでした。何者かが私の名を語って出したということです。宛先は北海道の礼文島。
The destination was Rebun Island in Hokkaido, with your name on it?
北方領土の話を抜きにすれば日本の最北端の島です。その宛先人がなんと礼文島の住所ではありますが、父の名前だったのです。しかし送付先住所が間違っているらしく、住所不明の付箋が貼られて、差出人である私のところへ戻ってきたわけです。
Huh. It was truly a strange tale. Well, I guess it is one way of concealing yourself. Instead of leaving clues behind, whoever wrote this, they done it in a way that only implicates you, Masayuki. So that the police or any other person like Angie over here would not find the one responsible for this. Nanjo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had sent it using his name. The destination was Nanjo Terumasa, Hokkaido's Rebun Island. But the lot number written on it didn't exist. So the local post office had been unable to deliver it, and instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son.
中身は何だったんですか？
本当に他言無用でお願いします。私も非常に迷惑しているんです。かといって捨てるわけにもいかず。
The doctor stood up and headed for the bookshelf. There, dozens of dictionaries that could only have been ornamental were lined up one after another, asserting in the strongest way imaginable that the owner was an intellectual. When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large brown envelope was hidden behind them. He took it out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been very carefully sealed with adhesive tape, and its faded color and dryness told that beer remained sealed for 12 whole years.
くれぐれも他言無用でお願いします。
While emphasizing it so much that it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a quality paper knife. Then, when he tilted the envelope, an already opened mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had weight to it, hinting that there was something other than a letter inside. The recipient was certainly Nanjo Terumasa. Okay, well, is this gonna be another written message telling us of the events of Rokkenjima? I don't know. Like, you'd find those in message bottles, not in this. Like, either this is something that we've already seen in the past games, like a letter of discord, or an invitation to solving the epitaph, or, well, actually, I mean, of course, this could be something new, because it said that it has such weight that it couldn't be just a letter. There is definitely something inside than just something written. Even saying that was a huge shock. After that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found, and he was being treated as dead in absentia under extraordinary circumstances. Corpses not being found. Like, this has been a thing since the first game. Again, I won't be surprised if the dead corpses are inside, like, very hidden places. I mean, we actually discovered, like, a hidden dungeon. Whether that is, like, under Quadorian or under the main mansion, it could very well be that the dead bodies that have not been found were inside this dungeon, and nobody was able to find the entrance to the dungeon. Which is disheartening, to say the least. Like, if nobody found a secret entrance after that, it could be very difficult to find the secret entrance like right now, so... One could almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido.
南條先生は本当に北海道に存在を？あるいは同姓同名の人物が北海道に？
父が何かの事情で事故を逃れ、北海道で存命していたのだとしたら、私たち家族にとっては事情に関わらず嬉しいことです。私も初めはその可能性を考えました。しかし、この封筒の送付先住所は存在しないのです。つまりこの封筒は届くはずのない郵便なのです。
送付者が正しい住所を書き損じた可能性は？
もちろん否定はできません。ですが、住所の番地を見る限り、どうもそうは思えないのです。
北海道礼文島礼文郡礼文町 1-2-34-567
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Until Raven City, it's alright. But that's just gonna wipe away the feeling that following sequential number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 was a little insincere. It felt like a fake address that some kid had made up.
おそらく明らかに存在しない住所をデタラメに書いたのでしょう。この封筒は初めから存在せず届くはずのない住所に送付されたと考えるのが自然だと思います。
If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of a faulty address, the local post office will often courteously, and to the best of its ability, research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still cannot find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. I cannot shake the feeling that maybe this was Maria's doing here. Like what has been said, like right here, that the number that was written was kind of like what a kid would write, like as a prank or something. I mean, not to mention that a lot of the letters we've seen before in this format had some association with Maria. Whether she herself gave it to us or I theorized about the letter of the Discord, they always had some association with Maria in some way. Not to mention that sending this letter and like having it be sent back to the sender, it would take multiple days. So it's not far-fetched to think that Maria sent this letter like way before the murder on Rokkenjima. But for what purpose? I guess we shall see. It seemed that this was what had happened with this envelope. It seemed that this was what had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked October 3rd. It was postmarked on Nijima. Nijima is a long way from Rebun Island. Quite at opposite ends of Japan even. Or actually, Yeah, I would say that sort of. Like Rebun Island is like at the highest northern point of Japan, like in Hokkaido, whereas Nijima would be way in the south, like where Rokkenjima would be, like near Tokyo. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there was an extremely high chance that having this envelope returned to the sender after an indeterminate amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Good question. I mean, I guess we shall find out. And yeah, if they wanted to have it be sent long after the murder on Rokkenjima, and not, like, during the murder, like 4th or 5th of October, not only would they put a fake address, but also try and send it to Bufu fucking Egypt to have it, like, to have it built more time. I mean, even if the sole purpose was to send it back to the recipient and all, to the sender. Even with that, I guess you could have put in like any location, as long as the address is just a bunch of random numbers that don't exist. Like, if Maria was responsible for this, or hell, actually, I mean, it doesn't have to be Maria, though. It could have been the hidden culprit who done this. Like, either the hidden culprit or Maria was on Nijima on 3rd of October. Actually, no. Unless our hidden culprit actually gave Maria the letters, like, way before, like, years and years ago. Like, you know, like, the envelopes, I mean. The envelopes. If the hidden culprit actually gave Maria the envelopes, like, way before, unless that happened, they couldn't have been Maria that sent this on Nijima on the 3rd of October. I mean, the only one who would have done that would have been the one who had access to these envelopes that are specially marked by Kinzo and such. Maria would definitely not have access to that before 4th of October. It is on 4th of October when Maria meets up with our Beatrice that she's given like tons and tons of letters to just spread out throughout 4th and 5th of October as such. Not before, so nah. Even before asking what it was that had been sent, this envelope was already veiled in mystery. So yeah, I guess with all that being said, I am having my doubts that this was Maria. This was definitely our hidden culprit.
中身は
どうぞ。
After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted the already opened envelope. From the inside came a small folded letter and a small key with a number tag attached. A swipe card slid out in addition. A112 was engraved on the key's number tag. Whoever did this really is toying with us. I didn't know what it meant. The swipe card was pitch black and had gold letters engraved on it. Members was written there in English. Members. The jet black gold letter card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course, I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. I unfolded the letter. Its contents were extremely brief, and only the following was written. 07151129. That number again. The one that I saw in Game 3 on the Magic Circle. I remember that. And the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan, as well as the words Central Branch. And that was all.
これは
貸金庫のカードと鍵、そして暗証番号でした。それも普通の貸金庫ではない。特別な顧客のみに許されているらしい不気味な貸金庫でした。
After he had finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he visited the bank. Pen and key and card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was stored there, and it was natural that he was curious about what that could be. At first, he didn't know what to do. The card wasn't properly his possession. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status, and was guided to a large vault on the 4th basement floor. And the security on the way there was strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items such as a real estate transcripts in safe deposit boxes before. But this was something on a whole different level.
私の使っている貸金庫の手続きと違い、カードと暗証番号、そして鍵を持っているならば、本人確認は行われないというシステムでした。ですが、とにかく厳重な金庫室で、その物々しさに怯えました。
Yeah, as I said before, it couldn't have been Maria. And I guess this is another evidence. Like, I think it is safe to say that this was not Maria's doing. Like, I seriously doubt that Maria had such influence for such things. Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me that Maria became the head of a Yakuza clan. I know. This had to have been the hidden culprit. And this was planned long before the murder on Okenjima.
こんなところに預けざるを得ない、どんな物騒なものが待ち受けているのかと。
それで
カードをリーダーに通すと、暗証番号の入力を求められました。そしてそこにある8桁の数字を入力すると認証され、金庫室への入室が認められました。すごい光景でしたよ。まるで SF 映画のような世界だった。薄暗い銀色の広大な部屋にびっしりと金庫の扉が埋め尽くされているのです。
He entered that room along with a clerk. As soon as the card was read, the votes he had a right to were apparently determined. So that safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one.
A11 にはそれらの金庫のうちの一つを示すものでした。ちなみにそれ以外の金庫にもずらりと緑ランプが点灯していました。20個以上はあったと思います。あるいは他の一角にももっとあったのかも。いずれにせよ、私の鍵は A11 にのみ。他の金庫の中身を確かめる術はありませんでしたが。
As the clerk watched, the doctor unlocked and opened the safe. When he did, the safe drawer like a large cabinet opened, and an expensive-looking duraluminum case showed itself. And that was carried into a separate room, where for the first time, the clerk left, and he was introduced to the contents.
中身は
現金でした。
現金どれほど
新札の100万円の束はちょうど厚みが1センチになると聞いたことがあります。それがこれだけのジュラルミンケースの中にびっしり詰められていたのですから。
Actually, hold on a second. Let me see something over here. And after the 8-digit number was input and authenticated, I was permitted access to the vault. Okay, so that number that we see in like the 8-digit number was the pin for the safe. But then why did it have such high significance for it to be written on the magic circle though? Like, if Eva knew of this, she would have done so way before Masayuki. In fact, our hidden culprit wanted Masayuki specifically to find this. So, I don't think that this was something intended for Eva. I think. But for who? Balor? Or maybe Nanjo himself? But they died in the end, so... I don't know.
多分1億はあったでしょう。
Actually, hold on a second. It was discussed before how the first 4 digits were Balor's birthday. So, it very well can be that he has high significance to Balor, but at the same time, this was used as a pin for the safe over here. And if this is the hidden culprit, then I guess it's safe to say that this is another connection to Balor. Like, Balor and our hidden culprit have some connection. I mean...
数えたわけではないから分かりません。手すら触れませんでしたから。私はすぐに直感しました。これは危険な金だと。
It isn't normal to store 100 million yen cash in a safe like that. Case and all. It's much easier to deal with it if you deposit it into a bank account and turn it into a number. The very fact that they weren't able to do that made it clear that there was something wrong with the cash.
私は頭が真っ白になり、すぐに関わり合ってはならないと直感しました。
それで一切手をつけなかった。
はい。そのまま施錠し直し、元の金庫に預けて立ち去りました。この鍵やカードも捨てようと思いましたが、何が起こるかわからない。そのため誰にも内緒で12年もの間本棚の裏に隠し続けてきたのです。あれが何の金だったのか私にも未だに分かりません。
この封筒をお借りすることはできますか？
いえ、この場で見るだけにしてください。
わかりました。ではちょっと失礼します。調べ物を。
I took One-chan's grimoire from the knapsack I had set down. I mean, this is weird. It is such a weird setup, it almost feels as if this money was... meant for a special assassin or something. Like, hired to kill the people of Rokijima. Like, with a special key card and such, members. Such a weird setup. Then I opened the page with a paragraph Beatrice had written to One-chan, and compared the handwriting on both. The characteristic handwriting was unmistakable. The one who had sent this 100 million yen cash was Beatrice herself. I guess so. This is the hand of the hidden culprit. But what was this money used for in the first place? Like, is this some kind of money that had the... I don't know, like, is this some kind of money that the culprit used to make one of the members of the family kill? Like, they used this money as a reward of some sorts? Like, maybe our hidden culprit convinced people like Rosa or Eva to do some of the dirty work together, like with a hidden culprit. But if that's the case, why send it to a wrong address in the first place? Why Masayuki? And why do all this while if everyone was gonna die anyway? Like heck, in this timeline, Eva was alive, and she did not take this money to begin with, so can I see this as some form of compensation for a person who cooperated with the hidden culprits? I don't know. Like, if I were to think that, then Eva would have taken this money, like, beforehand, so... Unless I am to think that Nanjo was in cahoots with a hidden culprit, and our hidden culprit sent the money to his son, because what would be more important to Nanjo than his son, maybe? To have a happy life, and send them the money that way. So I guess one possibility would be that Nanjo sacrificed himself so that his son would have the money. But what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What is it?
ええ。
Hmm?
そんな郵便物が確か届いた気がしますわ。母ちゃん、あれはどこにしまったっけな?
The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her. Huh. But he had been very busy in the days since, and seemed to have forgotten about it among the hustle and bustle of everyday's life. But apparently, its strange contents had stayed in his memory, and he remembered as soon as Angie told him. After a bit of wait, his thin-lipped wife came with the envelope, complaining that he had always forgets where he puts things. The modus operandi for the sender and recipient was exactly the same as for Nanjo's son. The sender was made out to be Kumasawa's son, and the recipient was Kumasawa Chiyo. And the destination address was in the Okinawa Prefecture, Yayama County, Yonaguni City, 13445-15167. A little bit more random, but still similar. Yonaguni Island is at the westernmost tip of Japan, and the lot number was exactly like before, a sequential number that had apparently been chosen at random. Now it was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it be returned to its sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A letter with a pin and a bank's central branch written on it. A swipe card. A key with attached number tag. The description on the number tag was A113. The number right after the one on the key that had been sent to Nanjo's son. Most likely, inside the vault was the same kind of aluminum case, packed with 100 million yen cash.
死んだお袋がメイドから送ってきたような気がしてね。中身もよくわからんし、薄気味悪いんでずっとほったらかしにしてて、今日まですっかり忘れてたんですわ。お嬢さんはこれが何かご存知なんですかね。ひょっとしてあんたんとこにも同じものが？
どうしたんです？エンジ様。ウリュウ、頭痛？
ごめん、頭が痛い。刺さってる。知っている。
知ってるって何を？
I see. So you more than likely got this as well, didn't you? Huh. In which case, maybe all this money was not meant for some unknown assassin to cash in and take away after a job well done. It very well can be that our hidden culprit sent all this money to everyone like every remaining branch family, and like, you know, known relatives of the deceased, like including you, Angie. Beatrice surely has been generous, it seems.
まさかこの封筒エンジ様のところにも。
I remember. Strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. I had fallen into depression after losing my entire family, but it was a really strange thing to come into the mail, so faint memory of it remains. It was a strange letter, which I had no memory of sending, but which had me as the sender. I forget the destination address, but the person it had been sent to was Ushiromiya Rudolph. My father. I remember that I got this letter I thought was from my... I remember that I got this letter I thought it was from my father who had died. I'd opened it up, and I found a key and a card that I didn't really understand. I remember being really confused. I felt let down, and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I put that envelope? Probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. By now, I have no way of checking its contents. But somehow, I think I can guess. I'm sure the contents were the same. Without a doubt, there must have been a key, a card, and a note with a pin inside the envelope.
ベアトリーチェ、これは何のつもりよ。あいつは全ての遺族にこんなふざけた金をばらまいたというの？死んだ後も愚弄するなんて許せない。
ウリュエンジェ。
Sartoro acted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off bit by bit.
ごめんなさい。ベアトリーチェ憎しは今に始まったことじゃないわ。あの6歳の日に、もうすでにあの魔女と縁があったことに驚きと怒りを感じただけよ。
この12年間、エンジ様はずっとベアトリーチェ様の呪縛にとらわれてきた。これがそのまさに呪縛の証となるのかもしれません。ですがどうかしっかりそれを打ち破るための旅でもあるはずです。
そうね。頭に血を上らせたって何の役にも立たないわ。冷静に考えなくちゃ。これはどういうことなの？遺族に1億円をばらまく意味は何？挑発だとでも言うの？ベアトリーチェめ。
エンジェ、落ち着いて。ウリュウ。
As Sartoro buried his head in my stomach, he urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking.
この封筒の送付はつまり、ベアトリーチェによる事件の計画性を裏付けるものかしら。
消印は親族会議の直前。
Yeah, so chances are very high that it was done by the hidden culprit.
そしてわざと時間をかけて変装されてくるように仕組まれている。事件の後に届くようにしたかったということかな。
うん、そうなるわ。でも少し疑問もあるの。なぜこんな不確実な方法で？
不確実？
ええ。だって何日で郵便が戻ってくるかなんて事前には想像もできないじゃない。郵送先の郵便局が調査し、送付先不明と判断し返送するまでの期間なんて普通は想像もできない。
そういえばそうだね。ちゃんと到着の期日を決めてそういう郵便で出した方が確実なのにね。ウリュウ。まあでも前日に投函したんならどんなに早く戻ってきてもきっと月曜日以降の到着になったでしょうし、死者からの手紙を気取りたかったんじゃないかしら。
死者からの手紙か。確かにね。 あれは驚くし嫌な気持ちになるわよ。死んだ家族の名前が表に大きく書かれている郵便物が物々しい付箋付きで郵便受けに放り込まれているんだから。でも私は何か腑に落ちないわ。私だったら期日指定郵便にする。ひょっとしたら想定しない日に届くかもしれないという不安定さが私にはどうしても理解できないの。
ウリュウ。でも確かにそういうのベアトらしいかなって思う。
え、あなたベアトのことわかるの？
ちょっとしかお話ししたことないけど、でもベアトならこういうことをするかなってのがなんとなくわかるの。マモンもなんとなく想像がつかない？ベアトってこういういたずら好きだよね。
確かにそうかも。ベアドリージュ様なら死者からの手紙みたいな悪質ないたずらはやりかねないと思います。
それだけじゃなくて、絶対確実な方法じゃなくてちょっぴり不確実な方法の方をベアトリーチェは面白がるの。
不確実な方法を面白がる？
Completely the opposite of what Lambda would do. But still, like whether it was one way or the other, the letter would eventually arrive at the recipient, not the recipient, but the sender. Like I'm having my doubts that the reason for this is just for fun, but I just cannot think of any other reason why she would do it like this, though. I mean, if it was for the sake of sending it back to the sender, written on the letter, then uncertainty... Like, I was about to say that uncertainty was, well, certain. That no matter what, the number of days that it would take for it to go back to the sender, it will be indeterminate, but I don't know. Like, there are multiple ways of sending this to someone, and, you know, not have the hidden culprit be discovered in the process. Like, I don't know. I remember Maria One-chan's diary. Yeah, quite a lot of descriptions of playing with Beatrice. Occasionally, some of these involved Beato playing pranks on the adult relatives with Maria. But those pranks always followed a certain little aesthetic principle of witches. Which was that things are more fun if they are uncertain. One day, Maria One-chan had brought a wind-up minicar, and she and Beato decided to use it for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time. If you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the spring in the tires, and when you let go, it would race forwards. They had wound up that minicar and set it in the shadow of a milk jug. In other words, the prank was that if it lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, One-chan and Beato had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing who would get caught by it. But ultimately, no one moved the trapped milk jug, and the trap never went off. When One-chan had then muttered, "We should have put it somewhere where they definitely get caught by it," Beato apparently said this. She said, "Traps where you don't know who will get caught, or even whether anyone will get caught at all, are more thrilling and fun." It's probably true that you wouldn't get that kind of excitement from a trap that would definitely catch someone. This kind of description occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had quite a fickle character and loved a random thrill. I mean, that's nice, but what I am more curious about is how, like, it is described as if both Maria and Beatrice were in on it, and they were hiding in the shadows, like inside the mansion, like doing all sorts of pranks all the time, like on the adults and such. Almost as if Beatrice was able to wander inside the mansion together with Maria, without the adults even noticing her. I mean, in Magic Claim, it would be understandable, like she's invisible, but in Human Claim, that is quite interesting. I guess that is another clue towards the identity of the hidden culprit, if I were to think of it that way. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I cannot flip over the chessboard to find out what that witch from 12 years ago was planning. As Angie thought these things over, her gaze wandered from place to place.